Hello there, and welcome back to the bunker. How are we all doing? Gosh, 170 here for the start. Wow. I just thought it might be appropriate to have a formal bunker reclaimed live stream because I've obviously started filming here again. Some of you will have seen the interview that I did with Michael Shemwell. That was actually filmed only 2 hours after we arrived back. So we were originally going to return the day after because I knew it was a work day. But then I realized we were kind of itching to get home. And I thought, you know what, let's do it on the Saturday instead. And I'll just work in the afternoon. So that video, that interview with Michael Shemwell was literally, just a couple of hours after the car had reversed into the drive. And yeah, we're back after outrunning earthquakes. And I figured, there's a little bit of explaining to do because I just want to get into the new videos that are coming without having to explain to everyone at the beginning of every video, by the way, I'm back in the bunker and here's the reason why. Before I proceed much further, can you just all give me a sound check? Is sound coming across okay? Is it too loud? Is it too quiet? If you could first one to right, so Genie71, okay, Yeshua is here, which clearly a very posh audience. Yeshua, by the way, if ever you want to do an interview on the channel, I'm quite anxious to have the Messiah on, so if your people and my people could perhaps speak. So it's looking like the sound is good. That's brilliant. I can continue. And also, nice to see so many lovely comments. Emma Moss, great to see you back. Daria says, welcome home, Lloyd. Hi from the UK. Nice to hear from good old Blighty every now and then. Round of applause for the bunker. Eve 2.0, if that's the same Eve 2.0 that has a new YouTube channel and has recently started vlogging, we need to talk because I want to get you on the channel soon. We have, yes, it is a bunker party. Thank you, Molly Bidomancer. Czechia is represented in the form of Pakas. Welcome. Yes, many comments. So thank you. It's lovely to have so many of you here taking an interest in things bunker related. Nice beard, Lloyd. Thank you. Thank you so much, Freddie. You see, the beard doesn't get enough love. I get so many comments from JWs saying, "Oh, you're just scruffy. When are you gonna have a shave?" It's intentional. I do let my facial hair grow most of the time before it gets lopped off because it's gone too long. King of Fade, ex-JW, great to see the bunker again. Yes, so as I was just saying, for the Michael Shemwell interview, those of you who are more eagle-eyed will have noticed that the back shelves, the display cabinet was empty, and that was because when I fled, I obviously fled quite quickly and didn't have time to really take anything with me. But then I returned. Well, you saw the video where I returned. And I grabbed some of the more valuable books, including my prized 1934 yearbook, my 1902 Divine Plan of the Ages, Millennial Dawn. It was pre-Studies in the Scriptures when they called it Millennial Dawn. One or two other items, Finnish Mystery, Millions Now Living Will Never Die. I just grabbed them and thought they can come with me back to Istria, and you'll notice that for some of the videos they're in the backdrop. There are actually a few more Istrian videos yet to go out on the channel. So I think I recorded 4 voicemail videos outside in the garden. So don't be confused if over the coming weeks you see like voicemail videos go up, and it's actually me apparently still in Istriet. No, they were filmed literally a few days before we left, because we're now trying to do things a bit more professionally. Now I have a video editor. We're trying to get... I'm trying to feed him work so that, so that there's a pipeline of uploads. So, yes, I wanted to explain what the thinking was. First of all, it's fairly obvious why we fled. I think I did the live stream, didn't I? Oh, super chat. Wow, thank you. Thank you to Droth. As always, just encouraging you to... Can I show it on the screen? Yeah, yes, I can. As always, just encouraging you to carry on. Jehovah's Witnesses need your healing tongue. I've never heard it called that before, Droth. At least not in this context. Massively, ex-JW here. Thank you for everything you do. Fled the earthquakes, a sign of the times, mate. LOL. Indeed, we did flee the earthquakes. This segues beautifully into what I was just saying. We had a 6.4 magnitude earthquake on the 29th of December. That was following 2 lesser pre-shocks, which were, I'm going to say, around about 5. And following the 6.4, which was a very traumatic experience for me and my family, as you can probably tell if you watched the live stream that I did about it, there were many, many aftershocks. In fact, the aftershocks are continuing still. So we came back last weekend. We've been back a week now. So we came back last Saturday knowing that aftershocks are continuing. Mostly they are 1 or 2 magnitude. But there have been 1 or 2 bigger ones. Now, one of them was actually last night. I was asleep and I slept through it. But I woke up in the morning and Deanna said, did you not feel it? And I said, feel what? And she said at 5 in the morning there was a big earthquake. We didn't wake you. But yeah, it was, I think, 4 magnitude. And that's enough to be scary. It's not enough to cause significant damage, but it is enough to be... there's that familiar rumble, which I'm glad I wasn't awake to experience it, but the noise is almost the most terrifying thing because it's coming from all directions. Usually when you hear a noise, it's like, it's coming from over there. I'd better run in the opposite direction. When there's an earthquake, the noise is all around you, and you hence have no instinctive direction in which to run. Thank you so much, Hector, for the super sticker. That's marvelous. And Ivan Ramos, who says you can never come home again. Welcome back to the bunker. Beware of the soldiers coming within the next 32 seconds. Looking for witnesses. Interesting story to tell you there, Ivan, or Ivan, related to unexpected visitors. You guys mustn't let me forget to tell you, but basically we were visited by Jehovah's Witnesses, and I don't mind saying. And thank you so much to Lisa Burberry. Love your goatee, Lloyd. Is that what it is? No, I'm not so sure. There's a connection. There's a bridge. A goatee is when it's like that, isn't it? Maybe I'm confused. Keep up the lovely work that you do. Thank you so much. And Tony Morris, gosh, say what you will about the man. As inebriated as he is, as narcissistic as he is, he still pitches in 10 euros now and then to my work. So thank you so much, Tony. And thank you to Big Eli B, not to be confused with his fierce rival Big Eli A. Huge story in the music world. Thanks, Eric. Glad you're hanging in, Amanda. Hope your part of Canada is doing okay, COVID-wise, and subsequently mental health-wise, because the two are pretty connected. Lovely to see banter. Because the thing is, Big Eli B is a patron, as is Amanda, as is Eric. There's a great community. We've just had a little Anglo-America call, part of the Patreon system, as it were. And yeah, there's a really lovely vibe there, and it's lovely to see that spilling over into the live chats. Anywho, I'm determined to get to tell you all what I need to tell you. So we fled on the 29th, and so we've come back knowing that the quakes are continuing, and our logic is that it's unsustainable to just be away from not just our home, but our business, because due to the support on Patreon, we've now been able to grow this channel into a business, so that Deanna is a director. We have hired a video editor, Tibor, who's doing the video editing. Every now and then I'll put out a quick one, but most of the videos are now edited by Tibor. Really talented guy who I'm enjoying working with. You don't just set up a business, most of which is literally where the work is happening in one physical location, and then just do one and then just disappear to another part of the country and it work flawlessly. I mean, we somehow made it work for 5 weeks, and it was difficult. We were having to upload files. We were having to send video files to Tibor via Google Drive. It was a pain in the neck because our internet wasn't good. Tibor's internet wasn't good. And so it caused some real logistical problems. So work-wise, it was difficult. We also had Jessica's education to think about, because she's she's in her, like, I'm going to say, I don't know how it translates to the American school system. She's in the class just before she starts proper school. And without this class, she'll be ill-equipped to start the proper school. She's 6 years old. And she's already been heavily impacted in her education through the pandemic. And the class started, and we were fairly determined that she wouldn't miss it. She would be there. So I think she missed the first week, and now she's back in. So Jessica's education is important to us. We have this new business that we're trying to do well with. And our attitude is, if we can have a sound escape strategy and a long-term objective to get out of this building, so that we're living somewhere where there aren't earthquakes, because the earthquakes are obviously continuing, then we can justify, returning home. We're returning in a safe and responsible way. So the question then was, okay, so we're returning home. How long for? And how do we work here? Because Tibor's going to have to come in at least sometimes and work physically at this location. The bunker isn't very big. How do we accommodate Tibor? I've already said on the channel that we were considering expanding the bunker, but do we really want to expand the bunker if we're now considering leaving long term? And when I say long term, we're thinking of staying in this building to the end of 2021. The reason it's to the end of 2021 is because we've literally sat down with our bank and they've told us, well, realistically, it's going to take you another year before you can think about buying a house for yourselves. So being incredibly open about my finances at this point. So that's what we've decided to do, is stick it out. And so what do we do about expanding the bunker? I've considered hiring a mobile unit, because one thing we've seen a lot of with the earthquake recently is lots of mobile units flying around, because obviously people have lost their homes, or their homes have been irreparably damaged or condemned, and so there's been this influx of mobile units. And so I've been seeing them, and I've thought, well, what if we hired one of those? Could that be a solution to our need for more office space? Yes and no. It turns out that by the time you've paid for the footings to be put in, they need to rest on something. You've paid for the rental, the installation. You've paid for the electric to be connected. You've paid for the plumbing to be connected because there's a toilet in there that we'll need. You might as well, with labour costs being what they are in Croatia, just have the work done anyway, even if it's for on a short-term basis that you need the office. So we've been moving backwards and forwards, but the way it's looking at the moment is that we're still going ahead with expanding the bunker, even if we'll only be using it for the next 10 to 12 months, depending on how soon we're able to move to a different location permanently. So that's what's happening as of now. It's funny because I originally had my heart set on us getting one of these little mobile units. I thought it would be a good solution. And Deanna was saying, well, why don't we just expand the bunker? And I said, yeah, sure, we'll expand the bunker if you can find us a builder, because with all of the earthquakes in this area, builders are going to be hard-pressed. They're going to be in demand. How on earth are we going to find a builder who can just drop everything and at the last minute come and help us build an office in time for us to do the work that we need to do with Tibor? And she was like, leave it with me. And the next thing I know, she's coming up to me and she's I won't say his name, but basically it's the builder who built this. So we know we can trust him. You can't always trust builders, can you? The builder who built this is available. He can come within like the next couple of weeks. And he was actually here today. And so far it's going ahead. There are one or two technical issues to overcome. But so far it's looking like, yes, the bunker will be expanded, albeit for a finite period of time. It will still justify it, though. Within that 10 to 12 months, we'll be able to do a lot of activism, a lot of videos. And even though we've sort of made it working remotely, there are just some decisions where you need to be there in person. A certain decision needs to be made on an edit. It's much easier for Tibor to say, do you want me to do it this way or do you want me to do it that way, than to figure out a way of showing it online. So I'm really looking forward to whatever solution we come up with. And again, it's looking like the renovation expansion solution. I'm really looking forward to that. It's frankly good to be back. Even though I've felt quite traumatized by the idea of experiencing another earthquake. When you've been through what we went through, you're kind of hypersensitive and you're thinking, when's there going to be another earthquake? So far, I've managed to sleep through them. They've happened at a time when I've been unconscious, which I should be grateful for, I guess. Lisa Burberry has sent through another super chat. Thank you so much. For Tibor, a beer from me for a job well done. Gosh, I owe him a beer now. I hope he's not watching this. I owe him a very expensive beer. Thank you so much, David. I highly recommend. That's a very generous super chat. I highly recommend supporting Lloyd on Patreon if you can. Had a great call today. Yes, it was good to see you too, David. Thank you so much. So I guess that's pretty much where we're up to with the return to the bunker. Videos are being filmed again. Today I recorded the rebuttal for part 3 of the annual meeting. Look out for that. It's scheduled to drop on Thursday the 18th, but I can reveal that we are breaking precedent and releasing one of the sushi. You have to really understand my channel to understand what I'm saying here. We're releasing one of the sushi from the next rebuttal before the rebuttal, because when I was filming the rebuttal today, I noticed something very, very significant in part 3 of the annual meeting that I think is a huge deal. So we're working on getting the, yes, appetizer sushi, as Eric's calling it. We're working on getting that uploaded for Monday. So please keep your eyes peeled to the channel on Monday. I promise you, you won't want to miss it. Thanks also to Turney Peas Incorporated, $5. I have one anecdote I want to share about something funny that happened while we've been back at the bunker. And then I guess I'm going to be looking for questions. I don't plan on doing this live stream for much more than 60 minutes, and we're just past the 20-minute mark. So if you have any questions about the bunker or about my activism work or the channel, do try and include them, and I will try to include as many of your questions and comments as I can after I've told this anecdote. So Tibor and I, oh, there's another super chat. King of Fade, ex-JW, you helped inspire my new ex-JW vlog. Great to see you back home. Maybe I'll have a bunker one day too, LOL. Thanks for the shout out, by the way. My absolute pleasure. Well done for getting stuck in and joining the fray with activism. Good to have you with us. So Tibor and I were in the bunker the other day, getting it operational. We have new equipment. We have a new A7S3 Sony camera, super duper with Sigma lens, all of which has been made possible again by the patrons and their phenomenal support. So Tibor was in here the other day setting up the camera and setting up the lighting. He's very, very fastidious when it comes to lighting, folks. I have got to tell you. He said to me once, do you have any way of monitoring the noise? So I said, the noise isn't so bad. I mean, I do have an air conditioning unit, and that sometimes makes noise if I'm cold or if I'm hot. And there's also a dehumidifier, and that sometimes makes noise. And he said, no, I mean light noise. He's really, really fastidious, folks, which I love. I love that he's into all that. So he was setting up the lights and the camera, and Deanna emerged at the door and said, Lloyd, there are some people coming, and I want you to stay out of their way, stay inside the bunker, don't speak to them. So I said, yeah, fine. I mean, you know, why are they here? They're here to look at the house. So I said, there are people coming to look at our house? Yes. What, like inspect it? Yes. And why is it that you don't want me to go outside and speak to them? Because they're Jehovah's Witnesses. So we had these Jehovah's Witnesses come to our house to inspect our house. And all of this should make total sense, by the way, if you understand the way things work when it comes to disasters. Jehovah's Witnesses like to think that they have all of the solutions. They need to be on top of every little thing. There's no way you could get through a disaster without their help. And so because we have Jehovah's Witnesses living in our house, Deanna's parents, who are believing Jehovah's Witnesses, they sent, I'm assuming, an LDC team to survey our property to see whether they would need to send workers to work on our property. Gosh. So we were stuck in the bunker. I mean, I guess I could have gone out and said hi to them, but that would have created awkwardness. And I guess Deanna knew that this would cause problems for her parents. So that's why I was under strict orders to stay inside the bunker. But yeah, we had these witnesses call and inspect our building, and they gave it a clean bill of health. There is actually one corner of the building where there's just tiny, tiny, tiny cracks. And I say tiny, they're not hairline, but they are like 2 or 3 millimeters just on the edge of the concrete beam. and we were a little bit concerned about those. But these guys inspected the property, and I don't know what their qualifications are. I'm guessing not very convincing. But they said, oh yes, your property is fine. In fact, it could survive a stronger earthquake. And therefore they won't be coming to repair the property because there's nothing to repair. But I just found it hilarious that conceivably, if they'd have decided that there were repairs needed, we could have been descended on by teams of volunteer Jehovah's Witness volunteers, and essentially aiding an apostate YouTube channel, because that's what's happening here. Yes, we have Jehovah's Witnesses living here, and that's why they would be calling. But we also have me living here and my family living here and the bunker here, so they would inadvertently be assisting assisting my work. What a weird thing that would have been, but it wasn't to be. But yeah, they do like to get themselves involved, and it's all a little bit unnecessary because, again, I'm here to tell you folks, you can survive a disaster, a natural disaster, and indeed a pandemic without the interference or involvement in any way, shape or form of Jehovah's Witnesses. Thank you very much to Gerbreen. It was great to see your Angels of Death video subtitled in Italian. Can we expect to see subtitles added to more of your videos? That's an excellent question, Ger. Ger is actually another patron. The way it works is that, as I've explained in previous videos, I am looking at gradually phasing in more non-English videos. So I'm currently I'm working on an experiment to have a Portuguese channel with Portuguese content, and if that's successful, I'll try and do more languages. But the most immediate way of getting my content in other languages is for people to volunteer to subtitle, and it's not easy work. It's really, really difficult work to sit through a video and translate every little thing into your language. Not just translate it, but put it into an SRT file, it's called. So once it's in an SRT file, in a subtitles file, if it can be emailed to me, and the address is on jwwatch.org, I will put it up on the relevant video as soon as possible. That's basically how it works. It's not very sophisticated. I am thinking about ways of streamlining things so that there is kind of a little bit more organization in that regard, but that's how it works at the moment. And if I can do more non-English content, or at least more of my content available in other languages, I will gladly do so, because I do realize that there's value in making this material available in other languages. Thank you very much, Paul. Apostasy is a virtue. Keep it up. Wise words, Paul. Wise words. Droth says, may I ask if Deanna's parents treat you as a disfellowshipped person? Yes and no. I mean, they don't deny that we're disfellowshipped. It's just that there are certain loopholes when it comes to relatives. And the long and short of it is that you can actually have contact with a disfellowshipped relative. It's just that you won't be exemplary. You won't be able to be an elder. You won't be able to be a ministerial servant. You won't be able to be a pioneer. You won't be recommended as a delegate to go to international conventions. You'll just be considered a witness. And that's the case with Deanna's parents. It's different if you have contact with a disfellowshipped person who is a non-relative. Then, in that instance, the Shepherd Book makes it very clear that you are guilty of, quote-unquote, brazen conduct, and therefore you must be disfellowshipped too. Those are the rules. And that's how things work in our family. So we have full contact, but it comes with strings attached. For Deanna's parents, I probably shouldn't say, I don't think I'm going to say much more about that because they value their privacy. But those are the rules. The rules are the rules. Any other questions? Oh, crumbs. I can translate into Australian if you like. Wow. Gosh. Do people watch my videos in Australia is the question. Let's see. Apparently there's a good question from Nesbo, according to Amanda. So let me scroll up. Lloyd, could you briefly explain the drama on Twitter about a misleading newspaper report about an ARC redress scheme sign-up deadline change and the implication of any changes? I suppose the easiest thing to do in that regard, Nesbo, is to head on over to jwwatch.org, where the very latest article is by yours truly and explains the whole thing. So there was quite a bit of confusion. What prompted me to write the article was actually my colleague Kim Silvio, who is the head of operations at JW Watch and also our legal advisor. She and others have been inundated with people in Australia, including victims of abuse, who've been very concerned about the extension to the redress scheme, which has been, how shall I put it, spun as a delay, as a means by which Watchtower has been able to wriggle out in some way of being held accountable. And that is absolutely not the situation at all. The extension actually works in favour of abuse survivors, as will be fully explained in my article if you hop on over to jwwatch.org and read it. And I should probably explain as well that jwwatch.org is the new name of jwsurvey.org. The reason why it's called jwwatch.org is because we're trying to move more in the direction of journalism. From now on, Watchtower in Focus episodes will be called JW Watch episodes, which will tie the website and the channel more. And frankly, we're just not continuing with the survey. I realise that that's going to be a hammer blow for many of you who love taking the survey and have taken it year after year for many years. But we just weren't seeing the kind of benefits and the kind of results from that in terms of interest from academia and interest from the media that we would have liked and that would have justified us continuing. So I decided to close the chapter on that part of my activism and focus more on what I think most people use JW Survey for anyway, which is the news and the information on latest developments. So that's a little bit of news on the news. Thank you, Pakas, very much. Just the English subtitles would help a lot, since the auto-translate is sophisticated enough. It has a source to work with instead of the auto-transcript. That'd sort you out nicely. Love you. Thank you very much. I feel loved. The problem is, again, is time. The whole reason why I can't... Here's what I would love. I would love to make every single video available in as many languages as possible as soon as it's uploaded. The problem is the more work you attach to creating a video, the harder it is to make videos, and the less videos will be made. So even something as simple as saying, Lloyd, why don't you devote half a day or a day to sitting down and literally typing out word for word what it is you're saying in a JW broadcasting rebuttal, that means that I'm making less videos, because that day has to come from somewhere. I don't have inexhaustible amounts of time to play with. So I take the view that it's better if I churn out the content, and if others feel so inclined, as we've already seen with the Angels of Death video, which is now in both French and Italian, if others feel so inclined, fantastic. It's just that whereas other people are probably good at translating things and creating subtitles, I'm good at doing what I'm doing, and I'd rather do it and do it as well as I can and churn out as much content as possible, and hope that the content that's most important and most relevant sort of floats to the top, and people will consider it important enough to commit the time to creating subtitles. And the Angels of Death video in particular was important, because that was talking about the abuse of the abusive nature of hospital liaison committees and how they use their privileged position to coerce Jehovah's Witness patients into refusing blood. So that was a very important video to produce. Christy K says, true that, Lloyd, it's give and take with the time we have. Yeah, there's only so much time, unfortunately. There are so many areas in which I wish I could clone myself so that I could do multiple things simultaneously. But seriously, it's been helpful having Tibor come along so that there's at least a little bit of respite in terms of being able to draw breath between videos. And that's actually very useful for my creative energy. I mean, I'm not going to lie, the 2020 convention rebuttals nearly drove me to total burnout. I can remember heading to the coast for my birthday afterwards and being completely drained after doing the 2020 convention rebuttals. That was really hard. And now that Tibor's on hand, I'm looking at the forthcoming convention season and thinking, well, that's going to be much easier. It could be that we even still need to bring in another video editor to handle it, to handle the workload. But point is, I'm not on my own anymore. And the extra time that I've got to kind of recuperate, because this stuff's draining. I'm sorry, folks. The stuff I'm working with here, especially when it's touching on abuse, it takes its toll if you're just subjecting yourself to this kind of on a full-time basis. So it's good to draw breath sometimes, and it's good when you're feeling like you don't have a video in you, you feel completely spent emotionally. It's good to be able to say, well, actually, there's already 2 or 3 videos scheduled for the next few days. Have today off, recover, and then go at it again tomorrow. And that's where I'm getting to now that I've got Tibor. And hopefully you'll see dividends from that. Hopefully it will just freshen up the content a little bit. Did I get this one? Lloyd, you're a bearded angel? This seems a little bit overdramatic, but I'll take it. Is this in reference to Angels of Death? As long as I'm not an angel of death, I will gladly be a bearded angel, although it sounds a little bit creepy. Oh, this person is my bearded angel. Thank you to Emily Weir. Thank you so much for helping me. I immediately thought, is that Emily? Thank you so much for helping me with Calvinist Emily on my voicemail. It helped me get perspective. We will all grow and heal over time. Very true. Glad you and yours are coping well after the earthquakes. Thank you so much, Emily. It was lovely to answer your voicemail. It was a very appropriate voicemail for my viewers. So thank you so much for calling in with that. Obviously, if anyone wants to leave a voicemail, the address to use is speakpipe.com/Cedars. But please bear in mind that, again, there's only so many voicemails I can answer. I seriously have to be quite strict when it comes to deciding which ones make the cut. And Emily's passed with flying colours. So thank you so much, Emily. And thank you as well to Dante for your super chat. Are there any other questions? I've been blabbering now for 40 solid minutes. Yeah, that was a great voicemail, says King of Fade, ex-JW. And Eric says, oh God, take as much rest as you feel you need. Just get Renato to take over for you. Well, he will be taking over for me, at least in terms of the Portuguese content. But am I ready to hand over the keys of the Lloyd Evans channel to Renato just yet? Not sure I'm quite there. But who knows? Who knows? He grows on you, Renato does. That's what I've noticed. He, like JW propaganda, he pulls at the heartstrings, and he gradually drags you in to his clutches. North ex-JW says, I was exhausted after my interview with you. You do an amaing. Kerry North. I saw I saw North, and I was thinking in my head Nathan Knorr for some reason. But okay, now it's all falling into place. Kerry, wow, what an amazing interview. If you haven't yet checked out Kerry's interview, it's one of the most recent ones. My sister told me our elder stepdad was her abuser, is what I've called it. I've been started to be a little bit more strategic with how I position the interview videos, and because I think people need to understand some of the stories in order to click on the videos, and it seems to have worked well. But Kerry's story is phenomenal, and it really adds a really important perspective to the interview that I did with Lacey, her sister. So please check it out if you haven't done so already. And Kerry, lovely to have you here in the live chat. Here's a question. Where do you want to move? Somewhere in Croatia? Yes. So I'm actually glad that you've asked that question, because I have been somewhat inundated with people saying, oh, and it's very kind, by the way. It's nice to feel wanted. Come to the UK. Come to America. Come to wherever. It's lovely. It's very, very charming. I love the fact that some of you literally want me to come to where your country is. It's just that, we're settled here. We're settled in Croatia. I feel as though with what's been going on politically, I'm somewhat distanced anyway from... I still consider myself British and everything. I am British, but I'm British Croatian. And, right at this moment, I feel more European, really. And I'm happy to be over here. I've kind of... The Croatian pace of life has grown on me, and it suits me. I felt like in the UK I was constantly in like a mad race to kind of keep up with the Joneses sort of thing, and there isn't that here in Croatia, really. Everyone just gets on with what they're doing, which suits me perfectly. But in terms of where we'll move to, it's probably going to be the coast. We try and get to the coast as much as we can, because the Croatian coast is just absolutely gorgeous and so relaxing to spend time there. And frankly, when we were in Istria, which I previously hadn't spent much time in Istria, I'd been like once or twice, but having spent 5 weeks there, it has sort of grown on me, because Istria has a very Italian vibe. It was actually once part of Italy, and there's the Roman arena in Pula and that kind of thing. So it's got a real sort of Italian vibe to it, which I quite like. So we're not completely sure yet. We'll have to make a decision nearer the time, but we are thinking in that direction of moving to the coast, likely Istria. And bless him, Tibor has already said that he's flexible and he can not necessarily move to our location, but certainly move closer if needed, which is brilliant. Emily Weir says, don't forget the importance of looking after your mental health, Lloyd. You always tell everyone else to do so, and seek help if you need. Look after yourself as much as you rightly tell others. That's a very important point. I will definitely take that on board. I guess for me, when it comes to mental health, because I do struggle with depression sometimes, not all the time. Many of you will relate to that. It's not necessarily a 24/7 thing or even a 7 days a week thing. Sometimes it can just hit you, can't it? But the way I deal with it is to not run myself into the ground. So if I feel as though I'm completely overburdened, either with burnout from work or with depression, take some time out, you know? With depression, have a nap, go to bed for a bit, you know, sleep for a day if needed. Sometimes that's all you want to do when you're depressed. Burnout, same thing. Just do anything else. Go out with the family if you can. You know, watch Netflix. Just try and do anything other than JW related stuff. And it's hard because, you know, not everyone. I've obviously got lots of friends and colleagues who are very, very in touch with the JW thing, and you know, WhatsApp doesn't know when you're taking time out. Although I suppose you could just disable WhatsApp. But lots of people around you are still talking about JW stuff, and it's hard to not check Twitter and that kind of thing. But to at least to be able to disengage from the work cycle, because the work cycle can be very intensive of prepping videos. Prepping takes quite a long time, depending on what I'm doing. The filming obviously can be quite intensive. The latest rebuttal has been filmed over 2 days. I don't have to worry about editing so much now, but I will be doing at least some editing for some of the shorter videos. So, you know, these are things that can take their toll, but my approach from a mental health point of view is to see those signs and to just disengage, just to take myself off that conveyor belt, as it were, and give myself time to recuperate. But I will take your advice on board if I think I need to go further with that. Cheryl Price says, watching JW propaganda is enough to cause anyone depression. You definitely need a break from that work. Yeah, it's just about, you know, managing. And, you know, not all depression needs to have a reason. That's, for me, what depression is. It's when you're just sad, you're in a dark place, and there is really no reason for it. It's just your molecules are sad. There's nothing you can do. It's not like you can just think a happy thought. It's just there. It's like a brick wall, and it's not going anywhere. And so, yeah, when it's that bad, I tend to just go for a nap if I can. Quite morbid, this conversation. I'm going to try and strategically choose some different questions to take us into the final 10 minutes. I'm chilling out from my work by listening to ex-JW videos. Good idea. And in fact, I plan to have a live stream, another live stream before the end of this month, at the end of this month, in fact. And I want to include some of the new guys and girls and everything in between. There's a brilliant array of new ex-Jehovah's Witness YouTubers who've burst onto the scene in the COVID era, you know, recently. And I think it would be brilliant because now on this app, StreamYard, I'm able to squeeze up to 10 people, including myself. And that gives me lots of potential to invite a large panel of creators on and to introduce them to my subscribers. So that's what I'm going to do for my next live stream. According to my schedule, I'm going to be attempting it on Saturday 27th. And I already have my list prepared. So if you are watching this and you're one of them, don't be surprised if you get a gentle nudge. If you want to reach out to me anyway, please do so, because it could be that I end up doing multiple live streams. You just never know, do you? But that's the plan anyway. Scrolling. The Truth Hurts is a great channel. I agree. I definitely agree. Digging the truth hurts, very much so. And the alt-worldly is another one I have in mind. Gerbreen has a question. 8.5 million in the Jehovah's Witness organization. Do we have any idea of the number of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses? Impossible. Impossible to know. The problem you have is that everyone's at different stages. It would be nice to say, oh yes, it's the number of Lloyd Evans subscribers, or it's the number of people on Reddit, or it's the number of people on such and such Facebook group. You can be an ex-JW and not be on Reddit, or not be a Lloyd Evans subscriber. So everyone's just at different levels of being an ex-JW. More than likely, we're talking about, I would think, at least a few 100,000, if not maybe 1 million or more. I don't know. It's really, really hard to say. But let's try and increase, whatever the number is, let's try and increase it. Final 10 minutes, sing along with, you see, Arthur. Let go, Arthur, of the last day's live stream. It's gone now. We can say goodbye to it. We don't need sing-alongs anymore. We can all sing along with each other in the privacy of our own home, or, if it's more convenient, in the toilet at work. Lots of love coming in for the truth hurts. Yes, I am very much aware, very, very impressed with that chap. Must have him on. Must. Nesbo says, what have you got planned for a Valentine's Day meal? Is it really bad if I'm not into Valentine's Day? Is it really bad? I imagine lots of people are. It's one of those many things that's just been permanently ruined. I'm going to be honest. I struggle to get excited for Christmas, and if not for the fact that I have 2 children, I'm not completely sure I would celebrate Christmas, even though I've made videos raving about Christmas. It's just one of those things where once it's been ruined, but I will try to take some time out to spoil Mrs. Evans tomorrow, if possible. So there's that. I think spending time with each other and just reminding each other of how much we care, that's probably what we're going to do on Valentine's Day. But I do struggle. I do struggle with the dates and with the anniversaries. Not the anniversaries, but with the celebrations. Ruined. I'm blaming it on Watchtower. I am. You can't stop me. What was that one I was going to click on? They've all moved. Someone was agreeing with me, and I want to... there we go. Hildiggity. I skip Valentine's Day among other holidays. There we go. Stacey Vibes. I'm not into either. You see, I've hit on an endless seam of indifference. I'm not really into the holidays. Hey, everyone's coming out of the woodwork now. You say something, you get it off your chest, and everyone's agreeing. It's a beautiful thing to behold. Eric says, my wife is a JW, so I get a free pass on Valentine's Day. I will try. Ruined for me too, says Talina. I will try to do something, though. Why not? Life's too short. Joelle loves Christmas. Lots of people do, Joelle. Some people genuinely get excited about it. I just can't. I can't. The thing that I like about Christmas is how happy it makes my children. That is the thing. Deanna doesn't get overly excited about it apart from that. Deanna's not like, oh, I can't wait to open my present. and neither am I. It's all about the children, to be honest. I honestly don't think we'd be celebrating it if not for Julia and Jessica. But we are determined not to ruin it for them. We're determined that they get the most out of it. And it's not fake either. When we're getting excited with them, it's genuine because we're genuinely excited by their reactions. We're feeding off their energy. But if you take them out of the equation, no, I don't think we'd bother. Halloween, there's another one. No way. I can't be arsed with all that. Come and walk round the neighbourhood and go to strangers' homes wearing silly things. Again, I don't disparage those who can get into it. I think it's really cool. Seth Andrews goes mad when it's Halloween. He really pulls out all the stops with his decorations, doesn't he? Halloween, you see, I know it's fun, Amanda, but it's also a bit silly and needless. That's just me. But again, if that's your thing, go for it. Go for it. No one can tell you otherwise. I will fight anyone who tells you otherwise. You see, now they're all coming out of the woodwork again. Mendoza, L'Auteur Maximilian, says, I do not do Halloween. Yes. There we go. Nicole Parker says, I agree, Lloyd. I wish on StreamYard it was possible to save generic I agree Lloyds, so that when I'm doing future live streams, I can say, and Nicole Mort Parker agrees, as evidenced by. You see, thank you for agreeing. It does mean a lot. Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I like it when people agree with me. Nesbo says, life's joy is in the silly and needless. Now that is a valid point. There's no harm with having a bit of silliness now and then. Are there any other questions that I should answer? Yes, silly and needless is lovely, says Amanda. Yes, I hope I conveyed the enthusiasm suitably. Yes! Lloyd, you taking the vaccine? Ooh, current affairs question. I would love to take the vaccine. If there were a vaccine available, I would take it immediately. There is no good reason for not taking the vaccine. If you can take the vaccine, take the insert swear word vaccine. What's wrong with you? It's a vaccine against a deadly pathogen. Here in Croatia, the stocks of vaccine aren't perhaps what they could be. Our priority is for Diana's father to get vaccinated, quite frankly. He's most at risk in our family. But as soon as I get the letter or the phone call or the text message or whatever it is, I will be jumping in the car and bearing my arm, and they can pump that stuff straight into me. I'm so done with this COVID-19, and I want to be immune, at least for however long the vaccine makes me immune. Hopefully forever. I don't know. I'm not a medical expert. Moulin Rouge says, bravo, vaccine. I took it. It kicked my ass, but I did it. It kicked your ass? Were they doing it wrong? I mean, why? Who kicked you? I'm not sure that was actually a vaccine. It sounds like you just got into a fight. God, seriously, if you're being set upon in any way, shape, or form, I'm here to tell you, folks, that's not the vaccine. You're in the wrong place at the wrong time. Rianne says, I'm in for the vaccines. There we go. Excellent. I won't be having any of this anti-vaxxer stuff on this channel. Sorry. Not interested. Go somewhere else. Go to where all the other tinfoil hat people go. Not listening. Valkyria says, wish I could have it already. Christina says, do you need help with the transcription services? I've had those are two unrelated subjects. Probably, in all honesty, Christina, probably we do need to. This is what I was saying when I said we need to get a bit more organized. If we could at least have someone churning out the English transcripts, that would again, help with the subtitles. There's a lot of work going on behind the scenes at the moment with JW Watch to add to the team and to, do the things that we could be doing, try to fulfill our potential as much as possible. So that's definitely an area in which we're thinking of getting sorted. So yes, stay tuned on that front. I think that's it. I've been prattling now for well over an hour. So what do we do? How do we say goodbye, audience? It feels a waste of 490 viewers, but here we are. We're at the end. Time-stamped transcripts are the hardest to produce. Well said, Arthur. A very moving way to end today's live stream. Thank you so much to all of you for tuning in. I hope this has kept you apprised with what's going on behind the scenes on the channel. Look out for the part 3 of the annual meeting rebuttal on Thursday the 18th, all being well. And definitely look out on Monday for an early rebuttal sushi from that rebuttal. I want you all to see it. I think it's huge. I'm even calling it a gate, as in Pillowgate, Bottlegate, another gate. That's how personally I'm viewing it. So see you all then. Everyone take care. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. And it's goodbye from the bunker. Take care.